So why you love Alyssa Liu and hate Eileen Gu. So banned psychological study from 1966 on sales and charisma that plays out in real life. In the 60s and 70s, a lot of psychological studies were done that would be seen as unethical by today's standards. And one of the most famous and most relevant to sales was the 1966 Yale Pratfall study. Extremely weird to see something like the Olympics create almost identical conditions to the study itself. So you have two very talented athletes. They're both half Chinese, but one who seems to have no weaknesses. Her grandmother dies. She goes to Fashion Week. She doesn't even go home. She wins everything. She has this unbreakable personality. And another one that wears her weaknesses on her sleeve. It does stuff to her hair and her teeth. She left the sport and got frustrated and came back, and it's much more human. And you can see how much more likable one is than the other. And in the original Yale study, it was very similar. It was two track athletes, and one of them was like a game show contestant, and they would spill coffee on themselves, and they were more likable. But then you had an average athlete, and it didn't do anything. It made them less likable. So if someone is highly competent and perceived as superior, so this was someone who answered 90% of the questions correctly or something, and they spilled coffee, people liked them more. And if someone doesn't spill coffee, they just seem less and less approachable. So you'll see like a lot of people are like, this one girl, she's not like modeling, she doesn't have this face, but she gets so much more, she's perceived so much more positively, especially in the US. The takeaways from this are two things. One is you can have mistakes, but the mistakes shouldn't affect your performance. If you have poor competency and you mess up that competency, the effect doesn't apply. But also, if it doesn't work if you're perceived as average. So if you're a prospect or if you're a client, they just think you're like a normal guy, you don't benefit from this at all. It only works if you're already really competent and if the mistakes are those that don't affect. That's why telling like your personal story with how you screwed up along the way is a great idea, but building in real life and doing like a video where you're like, I only made $3,000 this month, but I have a dream, like that's obviously going to hurt you with prospects because they're going to be like, well, why would I want to work with someone who made only $3,000? These are mistakes that I see over and over and over again. And you can learn a lot from what's going on the timeline, from what's going on social media and how these two athletes are getting. They're both getting positive media scrutiny and outlash, but one of them is being treated much more favorably. And you can recreate this in your own life. So I hope this was helpful, and I will talk to you guys soon.